You could have Mbappe's speed, Bellingham's poise, and De Bruyne's vision, but without one trait, you'll crumble when pressure hits. How many promising stars have faltered under the spotlight? Not from lack of talent, but because they lacked the killer instinct, the hunger to attack, the guts to fail forward, the mindset that says, "Give me the ball, I'll carry the weight." Right now, one name redefines that: Lamine Yamal. Too young, too fragile, too soon. But when critics said he'd break, he didn't argue, he played. And now, the entire stadium moves to his rhythm. Because when obsession meets pressure, something rare happens. A boy becomes a weapon. The only question left: will you become one too? Lamine Yamal plays like he's lived 100 lives on the pitch. He bends time with a single touch, sees patterns before they exist. It's as if he's pulling wisdom from a future only he can access. This isn't your typical next big thing. This is a teenage force, splitting legends at the Bernabeu, while grown men in Champions League kits fade into the background of his highlight reel. He doesn't survive under pressure, he devours it. The 90th minute, that's his symphony. While others shrink under the lights, Yamal expands. He doesn't just play the game, he rewrites it. How does a 17-year-old outthink World Cup winners, outcool elite finishers, and outcreate midfielders twice his age? It's not in his stepovers, it's in his wiring. That rare kind of fearlessness that doesn't just endure chaos, but converts it into calm. Scouts have a name for it: the Yamal paradox. The more the world throws at him, the bigger he gets. He's not chasing greatness, he's dragging it forward. Before the Adidas ads, before La Masia, before the world whispered his name, there was concrete, there was chaos, and there was a kid playing barefoot in the alleyways of Esplugues. No pitch, no cones, no referees, just cracked pavement and broken fences for goals. His first rivals weren't teammates, they were grown men who didn't care how old he was. If he fell, he got up. If he didn't, the game moved on without him. This wasn't training, this was survival, where every bruise was a lesson, every insult was fuel, and every "you're too small" became a reason to outsmart giants. Lamine didn't learn football, he stole it. He nutmegged mailmen who cursed like defenders. He dodged flying elbows from men twice his size. He turned streetlights into stadium spotlights and every loose ball into a moment of magic. There were no coaches teaching him flow. The streets taught him rhythm. The chaos gave him vision. The danger made him calm. While others trained in silence, he learned to think under screaming threats and snapping ankles. While others waited for drills to start, he was already dodging tackles, improvising, surviving. That's why today, when 90,000 voices erupt, when defenders dive in like missiles, he doesn't flinch. He smiles. Because Camp Nou, it's quieter than the streets that raised him. Greatness doesn't grow in incubators. It's born where the weak quit. On cement, in chaos, through pain. And when scouts ask, how is he so cold under pressure? The concrete answers back. He's been freezing his whole life. While Lamine's foundation was forged in the chaos of the streets, today's training sessions, polished, controlled, and perfectly precise, tell a different story. A story that begins with a lie. Let's rip the mask off. You really think 1,000 cone drills will make you unstoppable? That solo session filmed at golden hour for your story prepares you for the chaos of real football? That's the lie. Football isn't choreography, it's war waged in seconds. A brutal, beautiful chess match at full speed, where hesitation gets punished and confidence is your only armor. And you're not just facing opponents, you're facing fear, doubt, and crowds that would rather see you crumble. Cone drills won't body check you, they won't whisper doubt in your ear, they won't laugh when you miss or freeze when the pressure spikes. They just sit there, perfectly aligned, while you pretend you're getting sharper. Here's the truth no one is selling. Skill is built in silence, but character, that's forged in chaos. You can master every flick alone and still fall apart when the stadium starts screaming your name. You can hit 100 perfect penalties in peace and still choke when the spotlight burns. Because you didn't train for pressure, you trained for perfection. But perfection doesn't fight back, perfection doesn't scare you, and perfection never wins finals. The real training happens where it hurts, where you choke, recover, and rise again. Where failure isn't cut from the reel, but burned into your memory. If your training avoids pain, it's not preparation, it's protection. And protection never built a killer. Greatness, it's born in missed chances, grown in hostile crowds, sealed in those last 5 minutes when your lungs are begging you to quit. But you chase anyway. You can spend your days crafting highlights, but the game doesn't care about aesthetics. Perfectionism isn't hunger, it's fear wearing clean shoes. And fear doesn't lift trophies. So, if training isn't the key, then what is? The answer isn't in drills or highlights, it's in your mind. The battlefield where only the mentally unbreakable survive. Most players, they're prisoners, and sometimes you are too, shackled by your last mistake. One bad touch and you vanish. One miss and you avoid the ball like it bites. One glare from the coach and suddenly you're playing to survive, not to strike. But Yamal, he plays like failure can't touch him. Not because he's flawless, but because he never lets the fall become the story. And neither should you. This isn't magic, this is war. Mental warfare. Flow state isn't gifted, it's earned in blood and belief. It's the place where your ego dies, your instinct rises, time bends, and the noise fades. He's not chasing perfection, he's chasing rhythm, and so can you. Because rhythm belongs to those who keep dancing after the slip, to those who don't freeze after the fall, but find the beat again. But this war, it isn't just one with the mind, it's one with artistry, with your ability to turn mistakes into movement, chaos into creation. That's where the real magic happens. Not in being perfect, but in staying dangerous even after the stumble. There's a thin line between a player and an artist, and it's not drawn by talent. It's drawn by what happens after the fall. The average player makes one mistake and vanishes. Yamal made 7 and still cracked the game wide open. So, ask the real question. Are you here to impress the crowd? Or are you bold enough to keep going after you break? Because champions, they don't count mistakes, they count the comebacks. The real lesson in Yamal versus Inter wasn't in the goals. It was in the chaos. In the moments most players hide from. He lost the ball, then lost it again, 7 times in one match. But no panic, no hesitation, no retreat into safety. Just eyes locked, body alive, chasing the ball like it had stolen something from him. That wasn't arrogance, that was defiance, distilled. This was flow state earned through fire. Most players freeze before the pass, legs heavy, chest tight. Not because they lack talent, but because of a virus. Fear disguised as discipline, installed early, programmed by a coach's scream, a teammate's smirk, or the quiet sting of judgment from the sideline. So they shrink, they second guess, not because they're weak, but because they were taught to treat mistakes like scars. Yamal isn't immune to failure. He just never gives it power. 7 turnovers in one match, and he still ran the show like rhythm was flowing through his veins. He doesn't play to avoid failure. He plays like he's dancing with it. He knows what most forget. Rhythm lives beyond the fall. It begins the second you rise after the stumble. The greats didn't erase fear. They followed it. That pounding heart before the play, that's the signal. That dry mouth, the inner voice whispering, "What if you fail?" That's the call. They didn't avoid mistakes. They outgrew the shame of them. And that's the code. Lose the ball? Don't freeze. Don't flinch. Go take it back like it's yours by birthright. They laugh? Good. Let the laughter sharpen you. When fear says play it safe, that's the reset. That's the moment to write a different ending. Because greatness was never about avoiding mistakes. It was about refusing to be broken by them. Here it is, the invisible fork in the road. One path leads back to safety, where you train alone, protect your pride and live quietly in the land of almost. The other path? It's fire, it's noise, it's the brutal arena where self-doubt screams and only the brave move forward. Let's stop pretending. No one ever rewrote history from the shadows. Confidence isn't gifted, it's carved. Carved in sweat when no one's watching, sharpened by failure when everyone is, and crowned only by relentless comebacks when it counts most. The pitch doesn't care about your excuses. It won't flinch at your past. It doesn't hold space for your fear. It only speaks one language: rise or be forgotten. Chase pressure like it owes you something. Don't run from it, run through it. Walk into the matches that make your heartbeat pound. Face the opponents that make your lungs tighten. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. And when you stumble, smile. That means you're pushing the edge. You're growing. The moment will come, the stakes will rise, the crowd will go quiet, and your body will beg for relief. That's when doubt dares you to play it safe, and you answer by refusing to blink. You summon composure, you channel killer calm, and you move like the greats, locked in, cold, untouchable. This isn't motivation, this is a trigger. If you're done hiding and ready to dominate, if you're done talking and ready to build your legend, then this is the moment. Make it count. Tag someone who's too talented to play scared. Drop your fears in the comments. Then go show the world what built looks like. Because legends, they're not born, they're made on days just like this one.